And we're back. Hello, everybody. We're here. We're live once again. Day after show, Goose missed night 2. It was a fun night last night. It was very, very, very good show. Just Neil and I from the AAT crew today. We've got a very exciting guest coming on in a minute, Mr. Haps in Co. himself. So very, very exciting episode today. I did realize that on yesterday's episode, I didn't mention the fact that these are our first streams since joining the Osiris Media family, which is very exciting. So if you guys didn't know that, we Always Almost There is now part of Osiris Media, which is very exciting. We're looking forward to a long and fruitful partnership, if you will. Yes,
that's right. You're gonna do the mushroom thing?
I'm gonna do the mushroom thing.
We want to talk about the show. Okay.
Then we'll talk about the show. So today's episode of Always Almost There Day After Show Live is sponsored by Versio Wellness. Versio functional mushrooms are here to help right now, whether you are gearing up for a show, going to sleep afterwards, or recovering and restoring the day after. Using varieties like lion's mane, chaga, reishi, and more, Versio concentrates the health benefits from these potent fruiting bodies into a supplement with a variety of applications. I take their lion's mane focus every morning and really enjoy the boost it gives me throughout the day. Order your Versio today with code STORMSOUND15, which gives you 15% off your order, and it ships anywhere in the US or Canada. So, without further ado,
I just want to say I could use some recovery and restoration. It's just,
it's a taxing
but 3-night run.
Yeah,
and this is day 3, before the 3-night run ends, and man, I'm really, really tired. I'm very tired.
I'm also tired, but I'm excited for tonight. But let's bring Haps in.
Yep.
Let's talk about the show. Hello, Mr. Haps.
What's up, y'all? How we doing?
Fantastic.
Hey,
very excited that you're on today. How are you?
It's been a while. As a teacher, I did remote learning for a little while, so I have to remember to look at the camera right there, I'm talking to my students again. So it feels good to be back on the old webcams again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How you boys doing? You're looking good.
Thank you. We're fantastic.
Yeah. As I was hearing Neil say, we're after 2 nights, night 3 of 3, so we're going. Some of us did a Rebelo 2, so it's been
5 nights in a row.
Yeah,
tonight is night 5.
I couldn't do that with exam week. Couldn't make that, but other than that, we did. Me and Haps Jr. got to get up to the Beaver Creek show, and then Boulder was a phenomenal show as well. So I got 5 out of 6 going tonight with you guys as well. So looking forward to it. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun tonight. I'm looking forward to that. We'll talk about our predictions for tonight in a little while, but let's talk about the show. We kind of talked about, Neil and I talked about our experience getting into the show yesterday. We got our same spot. You were living the sweet life. We talked to Brian about that yesterday, but what's your take on, your sweet experience?
I love everyone. I don't want to hate on anyone that had to be down there in the pit. But we had couches, we had refrigerators, there was ice up there, a lot of dancing room, great sight lines. It was good. Can't lie, sweet life. It was good to me. It's going to be tough to be with the masses tonight, elbow to elbow dancing, but I'm looking forward to it. Can't lie. It was fun. It was fun up there.
Did you order mozzarella sticks, maybe?
No, wings? But I peeked over with Chop over in his suite and separate first night, and there were some sticks on the table, and he offered one, and I couldn't refuse. I went for one. They were good.
Nice.
Sweet life with mozzarella stick. That's a pretty good way of doing a show.
Yeah. Just so jealous of everybody that got a chance to do that. I mean, I almost sold one of my tickets just so I could buy another one to get that wristband and go up there. But
yeah, and you could suite hop up there. Once you had the wristband, they didn't care what suite you went into. So we were, over in 220 with Chop and a bunch of people over there, and then kind of bounced around, found our way over to 202. First night, and I don't know if this was mentioned yesterday. Apologies for not listening yesterday, but I'll make sure that's in the docs and I'll hear it. But we ended up over in 202 first night, and there was 6 of us in a suite that held like 32, and we were directly right across from the kind of catty corner, looking right at the stage from the back, and it was beautiful. And so, we sweet hop, can't lie, sweet Sweet life is good. Sweet life is good.
Sweet life is good.
I mean,
yeah.
Things were good down in the bowl. I mean, I really enjoyed our spot. I mean, last night was really fun.
Yes.
Saw a lot of people, gave out about 36 hugs, saw some really good folks. I mean, maybe even more than that. Yeah. But I mean, we got in nice and early and got to see a whole ton of people that, I really love. We saw, Kathy and Binky and Ryan introduced me to Matt Campbell, which was really funny.
Yeah, we ran into him before the show. We were right across the aisle from Peter's mom and Peter's girlfriend Becky and her family. So, got to meet some cool people. Neil and I were lucky enough to get in on the VIP last night. So we had the early entry and access to that VIP lounge where I ran into Jeff before the show. A man of the people, as he is.
Common man, love it. Yeah, yes. I ran into Nate, Neil's brother, outside when we were hitting up Will calling. So he told us where you guys were at down there. So didn't make it over there. Got to see it, like Neil said, saw a bunch of people. Just great seeing people coming in from all around. I feel I haven't been to the other Goosemasses, but first one here, and obviously living here in Colorado. We've been fortunate enough to have some shows out this way recently, so got to see a lot of people here. It's great, just great seeing people. A lot of smiles, a lot of hugs, like Neil was saying, and very fortunate. It's been great.
Hell yeah! Well, let's talk about the music. Let's talk about the actual show. First, let's go with the first part of the first set, opening sequence, Carol of the Bells, Turbulence, Atlas Dogs. Haps, what are your thoughts on this opening?
Love the Christmas songs they were playing. Those that were in attendance know they're playing Christmas music before the shows at set break. So it was very Christmas feel. It was awesome. I was loving it. So opened up with some Christmas music. Me and Junior had Linus and Lucy to start it off. Got a little ribbon from Jive last night on Friday night because I put it as the 8 seed and he was busting on me because Goosemas was technically Saturday night, but we threw it on there anyways, hoping we maybe start off the run with it. But love the Carol of the Bells. It's a great song. I can't lie. I text you, Ryan. I was like, I'm having a brain fart, man. I don't know what the name of the song. My brain was going Fifth of Beethoven somewhere down. I was like, I know that's not a Christmas song, but I know it's a Christmas song. So, so I had a little brain fart. Loved it. It was they ripped it really hard. Great opening right there. And I'm a huge Turbulence guy. Huge Turbulence. It's a rocking good song. And I love the lyrics to it. Just played really well. Crisp, way better. No offense to night one, but the second slot right there versus Everything Must Go from the first night was just kept the momentum going from that Carol of the Bells. And then Atlas Dog, short, sweet, crisp, get it out of the way and keep on moving.
Yeah. I really liked this opening. I think I agree with you for sure. Last night's first half of the first set was definitely stronger than Friday night's. Ian says, miss the A-Dogs jam. I do too, but I think it also, it's a great song without the jam. It doesn't always need to. I was just talking to Brian Brinkman earlier today, and he was talking about we were kind of talking about how Goose doesn't really have many songs in the 5 to 6 minute range. Pretty much all of their songs have this jam that ends up going 10 minutes at least. So I think A-Dogs is a great song to fill that kind of 5 minute time frame, energetic, and it's an amazing song. So I would love to see the jam, but I don't think it always needs it. And Turbulence is always, phenomenal.
Yeah, I was excited about this Turbulence when I heard the first few notes. I was like, all right, here we go. We're going to get the first Turbulence with Rick's new tone. And, Rick's new tone is somewhat fishy, and this song is a very, very fishy song. And, it delivered. It was really good. I was really excited about it. Definitely raged for that one. Atlas Dogs, is always good to see. Just like you said, Ryan, it doesn't have to be a huge jam, although there have been some pretty great jams out of Atlas Dogs. We think of the first one. Was that Portland?
No, the second one.
That was the second one. Yeah. So that one's really good. So, it would be cool if we got that kind of a jam again. But like you said, we don't need to have it. And then interesting thing about this particular pairing of songs is that this matches exactly how Portland, Maine started with the Turbulence and the Atlas Dogs.
Well, actually, all of the songs in the first set, except for "Carol of the Bells," were played in Portland.
They just they matched that set.
And stats.
I think this particular pairing grabbed everybody. I mean, folks were stoked. The audience was absolutely fired up, and so I don't know. Maybe we can put to rest that argument that Greg started, which is Turbulence not a good way to start a show. I don't know.
I think it absolutely
he's right.
is.
I think it absolutely is too.
Yeah, yes. I love it right up front. Somewhere right up front. Yeah. First song, second, right in there, get it going. It's very upbeat. It gets the crowd moving. I felt like needed that after night one, set one, where it was, just felt a little spotty a little bit, trying to find it till we got to that drive. But I felt first set last night was very clean, and the crowd was moving. It was great. It was a great scene, especially again, coming back from Sweet Life, looking down at everyone. It's great to just groove see everyone from a higher up standpoint and just seeing it. And the back behind the soundboard was way more filled last night than it was night one. They didn't I think from what I've heard, they oversold the seats a little bit. So second set of first night, I talked to a guy when I was down there visiting some people. They said that they're letting people down to the floor second set for first night, and it filled in pretty well behind the soundboard. And I guess last night, whatever they did, but it was full back there. It was fun watching everyone groove from up top. And Turbulence does that. Turbulence gets me going, and our suite was rocking.
Hell yeah! And then the main event, I've talked to both of you about this Flea already today, but this time to Flea, it's the main event of the night, possibly the best jam of the weekend. I don't know yet, but it was really, really phenomenal. Like 23 minutes, it was so good. What did you guys think of this? What were your thoughts?
Man, we were talking about it at the show, and actually I have different thoughts now, having re-listened, than I did have at the show. But the first, I think I see like two distinct jam sections in this Flea. The first jam section is that kind of gorgeous, blissed out, churning piano thing that Peter does, which really is reminiscent of those really big Fleas from 2021, which we always talk about because they're all so good. So that part was really awesome. And then there was like a full shift to this kind of funk jam that started a lot sounding like Camel Walk to me.
Interesting.
And then they kind of move away from that really quick and then just kind of drop into this little funk jam that is pretty spectacular, actually. So I'm a sucker for multi-part jams. This definitely had that multi-part jam component, and they're two very distinct jams, and they both sounded really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll jump on exactly what you were saying. I'm not good at remembering certain parts of a song, more of a common man dance and forget what's happening sometimes at a show. That's me. But I'm listening to the Flea. I'm on like run 3. You can kind of see over my shoulder, that shoulder right there. I get the webcast going right now. And Ryan came in at the end of Flea, and it's been on like twice already today. It's
reasonable.
It's beautiful, and I got some stream of it last night. My kid loves Flea. Was his first song that he got into when we started listening to Goose a bunch of years ago. So got a little capture of that, sent it to him, and he was jazzed for that. Wasn't on his list, but either way, beautiful song. I turned a couple people that I were with, and I said, let's go 20 plus on this. Like, I was really feeling it after the Turbulence right there coming in. I was like, let's just take this for a ride. Let's dance this off for a little bit and go. And that's kind of how and it went. And I was like, this is great. Especially when Rick changes over to a different note, like, okay, we're going to get that second jam coming in. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful Flea. Best Flea I've heard in a long time. Can't lie about that.
Yeah, I think, Ryan Molnar said that in chat, but I think Flea of the Year for sure. I mentioned in my Jam-Base recap that went out earlier, Flea has had a much tamer 2022 than it did 2021. Like there were a ton of big versions last year, especially last fall. Thinking about it, starting with the 48-48 version, and then Houston, and then what was it, OKC and Chicago, like for the New Year's run. So there were a ton of huge Fleas late last year, and then this year it's kind of been relegated to more of that first set placement. There are a few standout versions, just off the top of my head, Knoxville and the Wilmington one. come to mind, which the Wilmington one actually is an underrated pick to be somewhere in the lower half of my bracket, but that's for a little while.
Another podcast.
That's for another podcast that's going to be like 3 hours long.
I'll also, point out the intelligence of the crowd last night when Peter went to us right before the jam, and he's done this a bunch in other shows for Flea when he's singing, the elevator, blah, 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 see you later. And then he always says, let's hear you out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times at the shows, everyone hears that and they just go, rah, and scream,
Yeah, people said alligator last night.
Yeah, and they all yelled, like 6,000 people yelled alligator. And I was like, what intelligence these people have right here. They knew what was happening. So
yeah.
And I knew that was going to happen. I was like, I knew it was going to go to us. I was like, let's see if everyone's just going to scream bloody murder or just, or yell alligator or so. Tip cap to those 6,000 there that knew it was coming.
Yeah, and I do want to give Peter so much credit during this jam because, his piano work, we talked about on the pod yesterday, it seemed like he was purposely trying to play more piano without, using synths and vintage vibe and organ all the time, which he still was. But this felt like another laser-focused piano jam that he was absolutely killing it on. There was a nice little clav section as well. Obviously, we all know that I like clav. But he was going kind of back and forth between the clav and the piano for a little while. Really great. This Flea is amazing. I have a much more difficult task of slotting things into my Jam of the Year playlist than I thought it was going to be after just 2 shows.
Yeah, I heard when we kind of were buzzing after that and all talking up in the Sweet Life. Humble brag there about that going right to the Sweet 16. Definitely. A little hasty, that's what we were doing right in the middle of it. Felt good.
That's what we do at the show,
real good. It's just like that Sweet 16 material. Let's do that. So
yeah, absolutely. So then after that big Flea, we get our cool down, our pretty much lone cool down of the night. Western Sun, always a great tune. And then we get Tumble to close the set. 20-minute banger. My thing about this Tumble is I wish Peter had stayed on guitar. We talked about a lot during Taboo's tour as well, how much he's been, going back to being way more keys heavy in jams, even in songs like Tumble or Madhavan that normally have guitar on the jam. So the beginning of this Tumble where he was on guitar, there was some really great, dual rhythm work with him and Rick, both playing rhythm very differently. As they do, of course, and they're different tones. And I think both of their tones are so incredible right now. Peter's got that hot rod red guitar, but it was a great beginning to the jam. And then he hopped on piano and it was fantastic. I'm not sure if it makes my playlist, but it was really awesome, as Tumble tends to be.
Yeah, we can't talk about Tumble on this podcast without talking about how much I love Peter's tone.
Yeah.
Now that he's switched to these short guitars. And last night, there was some amazing interplay where, it was so percussive that all 3 guitars sounded wonderful. And there were points where it was actually hard to distinguish, the bass from like the rhythm guitars, because it was it was so perfectly in sync. And yeah, this is really, really killer. I only got to re-listen to about the first, I'd say 4 or 5 minutes of the jam, and boy, was it good. And I just love a Tumble, man. And it's, you can put it anywhere in a show and it crushes. And this one was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And I'll jump back to the Western Sun. Great landing pad right there. It was Chris. They didn't go to the long jam afterwards, but sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes a nice crisp Western Sun is all you need just to land it and then continue on. And that Tumble was, I looked at the clock and I was like, they're definitely going to end it right here, which, Tumble seems to land in that first set ender spot quite a bit. And so I knew they were going to go for a ride with that, and a lot of dancing. Again, I'm not the technical person as usual. I'll leave you guys with that. But from what I was looking at, just dancing, groove, and seeing the crowd, everyone was into it. It was a great first set ender. Just a lot of dancing. I said to someone after the end of the first set, I was like, I got goose stink right now, in a good way, meaning like I'm burning off last night's show, dancing really hard, and just it's all coming out right now. And between the flea and the tumble, it was a sweaty mess in there. It was awesome. It was great.
Hell yeah. It was great. Great way to close the set.
Yeah.
And then, we haven't seen a written set list from last night, so we're not sure if they rigged the set list again. I feel like last night there may have been some calls that they made, but it felt like there were definitely some things that were pulled because of the balls, which we'll get to. But we open up the second set with Thatch. I know we were all looking forward to seeing this at Goose Miss. This was your guys' first Thatch. I was lucky enough to be there for the debut in Glens Falls. But man, I love this song. What did you guys think of your first Thatch live?
Man, I'm a Thatch fluffer. You know this. And I was stoked. Yeah, I think we all saw this one coming too, right? It just felt like appropriate to kind of play this in front of this crowd, and it killed. And, I think that says a lot about the crowd that's out here in Colorado. Thatch is very, very new, and folks knew that song. It wasn't like folks were hearing that for the first time. I mean, folks were stoked about it. There was a pretty loud cheer when they heard it. And that says a lot about the audience. It says a lot about the energy in that place. And I think the band saw that and responded, and that Thatch was really, really, really strong. It's not the 20-minute Thatch that we're waiting for, which we will eventually get, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, arena Thatch is what I wanted, and it was loud in there in a good way. Turned to the lady, and I was like, "This is what I wanted to hear, just arena rock and roll," and that's what they were giving me in that version. And again, didn't get the 20. That's going to come at some point. I think they're just building the song as it comes. What, fourth time played? And I turned to our buddy third. Okay, yeah. I turned to our buddy Brad, who was with us, and he's like, "How has that only been played 3 times?" And they're just this crisp on it already.
Yeah. And as you said, like everybody seemed to know it. Everyone was digging it. Like, it's such a good song. Like, they really knocked it out of the park on that one. Peter also played it a little differently than the first 2 on Taboo's tour. He was using the vintage vibe during the verses instead of the piano, which I loved the sound of. I think it sounded great. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that song goes in the future. But it is phenomenal. Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
And then we get into next couple of songs. Creatures, Slow Ready. I think the MVP of Creatures was Getty. That we talked about this, I think, yesterday too, but his biggest light rig ever this weekend at First Bank. And just the way the lights were all moving around during Creatures, just absolutely phenomenal stuff. He's so good.
There was a lot of cameras out at the beginning of Creatures where the lights were moving all around, and I was sitting there about to do the same, but about 3 or 4 people with me. I was like, I'll get their videos. Sometimes you're with someone like, they got it, right there. And but you're right. And it was, again, going back to that arena rock. I was like, this is what I want to hear. All the Creatures I've heard have been outdoors. So to get one indoors in a bigger arena, hear that sound. It was great. Bardini had it dialed in. I thought the sound was really well. Where we were at in the back, sounded great. I know First Bank can get a little crapped on from people out here about sound, but I thought it was dialed in pretty well.
Yeah, it's funny you say that about people taking pictures. I probably took like 40 pictures last night, and of those 40, like 30 of them were in this Creatures because the lights were so good. Well, there's the confetti part later, right? Yes. It was killer. I was actually really excited to hear it, which I don't usually get like super pumped to hear Creatures, but I really wanted to see Creatures in that room with that crowd. And it was super fun. Danced really hard for that one. It does what it does in a set, and that was really, really fun. And I think, like you guys are saying, it gave Getty a chance to shine and kind of do his thing, because it's got that kind of 4 on the floor section where like you can really time up the lights really nice with it. And I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah, it was excellent. And then, so the next song, the Slow Ready Jam, is what makes me think that they weren't rigging the balls, because it was weird that they only did the jam and not the song. Like I'm curious, like, I didn't really hear I didn't really hear what Peter said when he pulled it, whether he said Slow Ready Jam or just Slow Ready, and they decided to just do the jam. But I'm curious the thought process behind why they decided to just do that part. It was cool, but I'm wondering why.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they easily could have just done that first part. You and I were talking about this earlier at breakfast, but they could have also just ignored the ball and just played the whole song. They had no reason to just do the jam, but I mean, it was cool. It is the best part of Slow Ready anyway. So, it wasn't really missing the verses or anything like that, but you got the big peaks, you got the arpeggiator section, and it was good.
I gotta say, there's probably a hashtag Team So on that ball that he pulled out, because everyone knows that Team So, like myself, digs the Slow Ready jam. So I gotta think that whoever put on the ball is a Team So Ready person and just said, let's go right to the jam, because we all dig that and we're all on the same team for that one right there. So I'm gonna go with a little conspiracy theory right there and say that Team So was involved in that. Picking that out. So shout out to all Team So's, man. We love you. Sorry, all y'all.
I was having such a good time on this podcast with you, and I was like, why don't we have them on more often? And then I remembered that's why, because you're Team So, and you're incorrect. We had when I first got to Denver earlier this week. When I first came over and we were talking about it, I just spent a long time berating you for your incorrect opinion.
You did, and that's okay. I appreciate that.
That's a good conspiracy theory, though.
Yeah, the first thing I thought. I was like, oh yeah, going right to the jam. Everyone loves the jam. It doesn't matter which team you're on. Everyone loves the jam in Slow Ready. So it was, but back to the actual song. Like I love that jam, and it was really cool just for them to kind of just start that. And I like that they're okay taking a chance. Like when they're doing the inverted tumble. I know that's kind of been a Reblo thing. But I like that they're taking those chances. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And especially doing it at Goose Miss, where maybe you're kind of going and thinking they're going to stick to some type of game plan, and they didn't, which was really cool. And it makes them vulnerable. And a young band like that, it's great to see them take that chance and see if it worked. And I think it hit.
Yeah, for sure. And then after that, we get the third Factory Fiction in 10 shows, which is crazy to me. That's 2 consecutive 3-show gaps on the song, where it had never been, a single digit gap before. Really interesting. I think Neil and I both thought when they started the jam, Rick kind of took it in a really atypical direction. And I think we thought he was just abandoning the jam and segueing somewhere. But I re-listened to part of it this morning. And I really liked where it went last night. I thought it was a really, really cool jam. I think they purposely tried to take it differently than they've gone with Factory Fiction in the past. But it was really solid and always big finish. But yeah, I love this song. Really, really surprised to see it again so soon, but it's a good song.
Yeah. That was my second Factory Fiction in 3 shows.
Yeah. Well, isn't that your 5th Factory Fiction that you've seen?
4th. It's my 4th Factory Fiction. Yeah. But a couple things about this Factory Fiction. When they pulled the ball for the Factory Fiction, it sounded to me like Rick was saying "Scomule."
Yeah,
I was really excited, really, really excited. I think out of all the covers that I've yet to hear Goose play, that's kind of top 3. And yeah, so I was stoked about that. And then it was like Factory Fiction. He actually didn't say. We were listening to it right before we recorded, and he was saying it was for somebody, and it sounded like their name sounded like
Scomule.
But yeah, I mean, well, actually, it's really funny. The stage banter the last 2 nights has been really hard to hear.
Yeah.
We didn't hear the thing about Moby, and we kind of misheard what he was saying about Skullmule. But yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pass it up to you.
Yeah, I'll wait. What were we just talking about? Sorry,
Factory Fiction.
There, yeah, Factory. Thank you. I'm never making it back onto this pod ever again. So get it all out now. But it's funny. I wish Amanda was here. I know she ran out for a second, but and she was gonna jump in. And for this song, though, she has a really good take on it's really weird. And for her, she's loves Goose, and I played at this house nonstop, and so she's been listening for 3 years and things like that. So she loves them. She's there boogieing, goes to all the shows, and she has a take on it. It's really weird how weird's probably not the word, but how the beginning section of Factory is so different than the rest of the song, where it kind of starts dark. And first time you ever hear it, you're like, oh, this is kind of this like dark jam. And then it kind of switches tones, and all of a sudden it's a little fluffy dance, groove that just goes. And so she has a better take on it than we were talking about in the car ride home last night about that. So I'm not going to try to remember what the heck she said, because
I think we just need to prolong this pod until she gets home.
100%, no doubt. When I hear the dog start moving around, I know she's walking to the door. So, again, Neil, like Neil was saying, through two factories in the last 3 is quite amazing. 3 in the last, what did we say, 10?
10, yeah, 3 in the last 10 shows.
I guess it's not. The thing is, though, people have been chasing that song forever. It was that chasing song, once a year type of song. They were playing maybe twice if you're lucky. And it's a song that people have chased. And now we were trying to talk in the car, like, what's the next song then? What are people chasing? If this is going to be played a little bit more, what's the one that's going to replace the one that everyone's kind of chasing, because Factory always seemed like the one that people wanted to chase and couldn't get it, and now they're playing a little bit more, and I'm happy with it. I like the song. I don't like songs that sit on the back burner for 4 years, man. Give me the goods. I don't need Atlas Dog every other show. I love that song, but give me a little Factory.
Yeah, could be Elmeg. That one's getting played 2-3 times a year at this point, so less than Factory Fiction. I think that's the original that's in the least rotation outside of something like maybe the Labyrinth or like Dragonfly, stuff like that. I think Labyrinth is on like a 40-something show gap right now. Last played in Dylan. Maybe it's not 40. I digress. Moving on with the second set, we got a nice tight Animal, the way I like it. And then, nice like elephant and animal sounds from Peter. Yes, I do want to mention these Turkish Hills comments. I did put a ball in the thing last night that said Turkish Hills on it. I was hoping maybe they'd pull it, but they didn't. That is the bust out of all bust outs. But so Animal with animal sounds, which was kind of fun. And, I love this song. It's just such a good song.
Yeah, not much to say about this Animal. I do want to go back and finish my thought on Factory Fiction.
Yes, please do.
I'm in the hallway at the hotel, and there was like a couple people coming by before, so I had to stop short. But this Factory Fiction was interesting because it did sound like they were taking this somewhere truly unique, which you were talking about, Ryan. And that has me a little bit excited because at this point, I'm getting bored with Factory Fictions a little bit. It's almost like, I don't know, the shine on the song is that you're hearing it and it's rare, just like what Haps was saying, right? And like now that that's gone, the song has to do something to make it exciting. And I think when we look back and you think about Bingo Factory Fiction, that is an incredible jam. Yeah. So they have proven that can be an amazing jam vehicle. I think every version since really hasn't gotten anywhere near that. But last night's version gives me hope for this song that they're going to kind of make it a special jam vehicle. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the thing that Factory Fiction can do now, because it's just not the roar that you got at Westville when, people were so thrilled to hear the song again. So just want to talk about that. And then just briefly talk about Animal. I did think the synth like Animal sounds like hit really well. And Peter was just having the time of his life doing that. I mean, he was like laughing and there you go. Exactly what Ian said.
It was hilarious. I hope that sticks around. I think it's hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we get the long-awaited Colorado Dripfield finally making an appearance after not being at Red Rocks. It was necessary in the arena. Dripfield is an arena song. We know this. We've been saying that since it was first played in an arena in February. And it hit like it always does. Wasn't the longest version. Jam didn't get that deep, but it was still great. It's Dripfield. I got no complaints.
Yeah, I thought. Yep. Oh, sorry, Neil. I'll jump in real quick, and I'll go back to the Animal just to finish off what you guys were saying was, it sounded great. Number one, and it's become a little bit of a sing along. I can't lie that people were, it's catchy, but it's a great jam song. But, you know, it's also good to have a song where people can get the lyrics down and know the lyrics, especially new people. I had a lot of friends that were there for the first time, and they were commenting on that song specifically. Like, that's a fun song. It's a cool song. It's easy lyric type song that can get more people involved in the growing scene, which is great. You know, it's nothing like, you know, deep thinking type of a song, but it's something that's fun. People enjoy it. They know the lyrics, and people were singing along all around with that. And that kind of add that twist into, and of course the animal songs, the animal sounds, we looked at each other and started laughing when they were making those songs. So want to jump in on that with the animal. And then, the drip, there was a lot of talk being at Red Rocks. I wouldn't say people were disappointed in the Red Rocks set list on how they went. Again, I love that bands kind of go exploratory, especially that, but I think we all expected the drip to happen at Red Rocks, and it didn't. So, I mean, it was, if you were a bet man, coming with that drip field last night was, you're probably
the 8-pointer.
Yeah, definitely. 8-pointers, definitely. I had it up there. I think I had a 6 right there. Me and Haps Jr. both had drip, so I'm sure a lot of people did as well. But it was great. It sounded amazing. Sounded great in there. Again, that arena rock, you know, just sounded great. Bardini had it dialed in. Thought the sound was great for that venue, and it sounded great. It sounded amazing. It was a great version. Really happy with it. I haven't heard it yet. Again today, it's somewhere on there playing right now, but we'll get to it. It was beautiful. I can't wait to hear it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Dripfield, I think, can go a couple ways, right? They can jam it. They have jammed it. I think every time they've jammed Dripfield, I've really liked it. Or it could be more like this, which is a killer set 2 closer, right? It's almost like we were talking about SOS yesterday, where SOS just crushes. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's different than versions that you've heard before, and you know exactly what you're going to get when you hear it live. Doesn't matter. It's still awesome. The performance is just so good. And then this Dripfield last night, perfect performance, I think, you know, if you're just kind of thinking about the standard play of the song. And then, of course, the confetti and everything that came out during it. That was during Drip, right? That was during Drip. Yeah. And, I mean, that kind of took my attention away from the music for a minute. Oh, it's Amanda. Hey.
Hi, Amanda.
How are y'all?
Fantastic. So we were told by your husband that there are some opinions of yours that we need to hear factory fiction. I would love to hear them.
Sure. Yeah, cool. So I know people get super stoked when they hear that, and a lot of people have been chasing it for a long time, at least up until recently. My thought is that I love the song, but the intro, for me, has never fit the rest of the song. And I almost feel like you have 2 very different things happening, which is not bad, but I'd love to see the intro kind of take off on its own and become its own thing at some point.
Yeah, that would be cool if they stretched out and kind of explored that motif. I like the contrast between the intro and the rest of the song. I think it's cool. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I would love to see them take that somewhere.
Yeah, and Katie, she's staying with Katie. I'm gonna dox her real quick. Katie ATL on Twitter. She's with us. She's out right now, but she loves the Dark Goose, you know. And she was telling us how her and a friend back in Atlanta, not really 100% sure there, but her friend, they talk about Goose when they're getting into it. And like the one thing that they wanted was Goose to get a little darker, you know, with some of the songs. And like, I agree, like that factory is that dark sound. Like it would be cool to get that sound a little bit longer, stretch it out a little bit, you know, and kind of go with that. But there was many times last night where we looked at each other like, ooh, they're getting darker here. Having Spuds on drums, just getting a tribal. I turned to you a couple times, like, here comes tribal drums right here. And he's just kind of going all around. And I love that. I love when they get that tribal drum sound that Ben does. It sounds great.
Yeah. And it's almost like that little section in Turn Clouds too. And I don't know if you would call it a break or whatnot, but there are these kind of moments where you kind of see that there could be the nexus of a brand new song or something. And that's how talented I think they are. There's this sectioning they have within all of their compositions is so interesting to me.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Drip was a great way to close out the second set. And then the encore was cool, you know, very, very, very quick encore. Hot Tea, Linus and Lucy Hot Tea, you know, at this point, I was getting worried that this was going to be the first Goose Miss ever with no Linus and Lucy. But we got it in that hot tea, which not much of a hot tea really. Like didn't really jam any part of it at all. Skipped the Peter solo. So I wonder if I wasn't looking at what time it was, but I'm wondering if they were coming up against curfew for that. But I think they played later on Friday, so I'm not sure. But it was cool. Happy to see Linus and Lucy getting its traditional play. And I'm currently having a very good track record with wearing the shirts that I've designed, and they usually play the song for the shirt that I'm wearing, because I was wearing my hot tea one last night. So Nate, we'll see if we get this tonight.
There we go. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We'll see.
I support that.
But yeah, what did you guys think of the encore?
I mean, I don't have much to say about the encore. I mean, I think it was nice. It was like a nice little parting gift from the show. Didn't rage the way that I expected hot tea to rage, but it was cool. You slide in the Linus and Lucy. I think if this was a thing that Goose normally did, I would have been really not stoked on it.
Yeah.
But the Christmas songs just kind of slid in there, and Goose Miss are kind of neat, and it's nice that only happens once a year. So I'll say that. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it just didn't have much. There wasn't much energy to it, and I feel like that Linus and Lucy interlude that they did in the middle of that hot tea kind of let the air out of the tires a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think folks were tired too, and folks were ready to go home. There was 2 nights of pretty hard raging.
Yeah,
I know I was ready to get out and just.
We were hitting those sweet chairs pretty hard up there. Can't lie. Sorry, we were on the floor. Floor looked real comfortable, but sweet life. We had some comfy seats. We had to sit down every once in a while. That's old people right there. But
I'm gonna speak for yourself.
Oh, sorry, my bad. No, we were raging up there for it. And the same thing for T. And now me and Junior had Linus at the 8 spot. So we were texting with our friend I was here with Haps Junior, and she was reading the set list I was coming in, and he was waiting for that Linus to hit, and it wasn't. And so we were kind of chatting with him back home. He's like, when are they playing that? And he was asleep when we got home, but I told him in the morning that it hit in the encore slot. So
you should have gone into his room when you got home, wake him up, be like, they played it in the encore.
You know what? I have gone in there and woken him up for songs before. I can't lie. Dude, bad dad.
You got 8 points.
In there,
wake up.
Yeah, definitely. Usually we come home like, dude, they played this, So I thought about it. I was like, it was like 1:15 when we got back. I was like, I'll let them know in the morning. But I like the hot tea sandwich. I was hoping when they came back to the jam that it was going to be an extended. But Neil was right, man. We were gassed. I think everyone was on fumes by night 2. We were.
We'll see what happens tonight.
I know. I was just thinking as we say that we're about to go and get one more in us. So we were at set break. We were talking about waking up yesterday morning with foam rollers and stretching, and the geriatric wing of the Goose community that stands in the back. We're out there stretching and doing a little bit of yoga to keep us going. So but overall, great show, and a great ender. I thought it was a lot of fun.
So let's talk predictions for tonight. There's still obviously there's so much on the table, and Neil, you had a great point earlier. It was either you or Brian earlier, but we were talking about it. It was like they can't just turn off the arena mode and go back to being a 600-person venue band. They're still going to be playing with that arena sound in a room 1/10 the size of First Bank. I think probably even less than that. It's 1/10 the capacity of last night. And so I'm so excited to hear and see how they go, how they make that transition. Are we going to get Born? Are they going to play Born? And there's so much on the table, like Madhavan, All I Need, Redbird, like all these songs. And yeah, Jesse, great point about, Rick's tone adjustment. Like we're going to hear that arena rock tone in the small venue. So I'm excited. What are you guys expecting for tonight?
You hit the ones I was thinking. I was thinking Hunger Side opener. Just have that feel that's going to come out right off the bat. But big Madhavan, big Redbird, second set coming. I think a 726 is probably out there somewhere just because it was on that set list. Here's Junior right here. You want to come say hey real quick? Tell me you got your Linus and Lucy. Everyone, Haps Jr. right there. He's the one that kicks all your butt at fantasy.
Yep.
Right there. So for real. There's a whole There's a whole Haps clan, everyone.
There we go. We're very happy.
All right, can we get a prediction?
Yeah,
from Haps Jr.
Haps Jr., what do you think tonight?
Don't give everyone your 8-pointer though. You know, be selective what you want to give them.
Probably like a nice 726.
726. There it is. He's going 726.
The Haps Jr. prediction. So this is now the second full family that we've had on Always Almost There. So very, very exciting.
Yeah. I definitely, when I saw the 726 on the list a couple nights ago, I was like, you know, we thought a couple times it might have been a landing song last night, but didn't go to it. But Madhavan, I think that's coming up. I saw a lot of the sweatshirts up there. So Jive was representing through the whole the arena. Everywhere I worked, I saw one of those. So it was good to see that. So, you know, I think that's a good omen for what we're going to see, a pretty big one. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Going back to a 600, you know, cap venue. It's going to be tight in there. It's going to be sweaty. We're going to have a damn good time. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. You know, I'm worried about you guys and Brian after being in the suites, having to, you know, be packed in with us like that. But
yeah,
I'm excited to get to do, you know, to do a show with you guys tonight. It's going to be great. You know, hope to see lots of great people tonight. You know, it's going to be fun.
There's going to be a lot of fingers in the air tonight outside that venue because I know people
Absolutely.
I mean, there were some, I mean, I can't lie, like the last 2 nights, there were tickets, people couldn't make it, things happened. There were some tickets, but I mean, it was packed, it was sold out, blah, blah, blah. But tonight, everyone's texting, I'm getting my phone's blowing up. People are trying to get in, you know, so it's going to be one of those everyone's trying to get into tonight.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Neil, what do you think?
Yeah, wait, so predictions. Well, I'm hanging my hat on a Madhavan for tonight. Like, I mean, I want it so bad. I mean, this is like not even like a fantasy Goose discussion. Like, I want to see Madhavan in that room with the 600 people that really, really want to see this band, right?
Correct.
Everybody that's in there, like nobody's casually picking up a ticket and walking into the show tonight. If you got into this show, you worked hard to get into the show. Mm-hmm. So I think Madhavan would be amazing. I hope they kind of sprinkle in something kind of special, like This Old Sea or something like that. I think that'd be pretty awesome. So, yeah, there's the only two that are really sticking out in my mind now. Scomule. They should play Scomule. Actually, I'm going to put that into the universe right now.
Let's get a Scomule.
Yeah.
I would definitely be okay with that.
So that would be spectacular. So that's what I'm thinking about for this one. But really just thinking about that one song in particular. I hope the Madhavan goes down tonight and just absolutely rip. Yeah.
Well, and unfortunately, you know, we're not going to be doing our day after show the day after the show. We're going to do it on Tuesday because tomorrow at the time of this show, all of us will be in transit back home and not able to join the podcast. So Tuesday at 3:00 p.m. Eastern, 1:00 p.m. Mountain Time, there will be a pod and we will talk about tomorrow night. So we're going to call it the day after show. But yes, join us for that. We'll post on socials, obviously to remind everybody. But Haps and Amanda, thank you guys so much for being on today. Always a pleasure talking to you guys.
Thanks for having us. It was great chatting with all you guys. Yeah. And Ryan, you're upstairs, so we'll see you in a minute. Neil, we'll see you over in Boulder in a little bit. Definitely.
Yeah. So stoked that we got you two on the show. You know, known you guys for like a really long time. Haps, we met out in Montana, and you know, Amanda is a real professional podcaster. So we should plug her pod while she's on.
Yes,
she does all that.
Amanda,
jam pod.
tell us about your pod.
Thank you. Yeah, so appreciate that. So All That Jam Pod is a weekly lighthearted look at the scene, 30 minutes, kind of like your drive time commute jam band news show. We do a lot of audience participation stuff. And this week, so I guess dropping tomorrow, we've got half of Dopapod joining us.
Ooh.
Really good chats.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Well, check out All That Jam wherever you get your podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. Right I don't pod. I just listen to her do her thing and support what she does. And just happy to spread a lot of love in the Goose community, man. You guys are all great. Yeah, and
love it.
having a really good time growing in this scene. Great people out there. You two, especially in the whole always almost there, almost always there. I know I was going to butcher that one.
We do that frequently.
We do it too.
Yeah. Nice. So shout out to Kev out there. We love you, man. and get well out there, bud. We'll see you at the next show, definitely. And
yes.
And D was fun dancing with last night, and he was up in the suite with us as well. So shout out to D. Love dance with him. Every time I get a show with him, we dance like crazy. It's like good thing the cameras aren't on us because we're doing some funky dancing. Definitely. So it was a lot of fun, and that was good. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it. And if you ever need us, you know where we're at, man. We'll jump on. We got
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll see everybody on the pod on Tuesday. Talk about tonight. If you're going tonight, if you're webcasting, obviously, share your thoughts with us on social media. If you see us at the show tonight, please say hi. As we say, we always love saying hi to people because it's great and we love this community. So that's all for today's episode of Day After Show.